All right, what's going on, everybody? This is Nazir Senpai here for the Nerd Grid, and today we are going to be talking about a new series that I want to, head on the channel. And I've decided to call it Nazir Senpai's Roster Remakes. This is where I'm going to take rosters, or really a lot of it doesn't have to be necessarily a roster in a fighting game, for example. It could be like any kind of roster or a lineup or like a weapon arsenal in like a game for like a Call of Duty game, for example, anything like that. And me sharing my thoughts, as it would be, obviously I would only deal with games I've experienced in, because I have no merit to talk in games that I do not have extensive time in which studying the inner mechanics and inner workings of, as well as actually having a lot of playtime. But yes, our first game that we're gonna be looking at, Super Smash Bros. The whole series. Not in one video though. Super Smash Bros. 64 will be starting here, and it's kind of a lame way to start. Not because Super Smash Bros. 64 is a lame game. It's a beautiful game that started it all. Unfortunately, most people don't remember it for such. But Smash Bros. 64. Oh boy, this was the game that started it all. The true clash of Nintendo's icons plus Jigglypuff. Okay, so if you're a Jigglypuff fan out there, you're not gonna like this video. And if you're anyone else out there, you're not really gonna care, probably, unless you're a main of the other character here. I'm probably giving a lot away just by saying that. NES mains might be on tilt for this as well. We'll see. But yeah, Super Smash Bros. 64. We leave it with the initial 12. There's no reason to change that. Everyone from the 12 remains, which means I'm not gonna sit here and talk about, oh, well, this is how Mario would fight, and this is how Donkey Kong would fight, and this is how Samus would fight. I don't need to do that, because I'm not changing any of these characters, really, in terms of their movesets. And I'm not going full in depth with all their movesets. I'm talking about their specials, and then final smashes once those become a thing. Luckily, I don't have to worry about that right now, because that would be a big pain in the, So, roster count 12. Mario, Link, Kirby, Pikachu, Fox, Samus, Donkey Kong, Yoshi, Captain Falcon, Ness, and Luigi all come back. All unedited as well. Jigglypuff, goodbye. Now, before you dislike, put a hurtful comment in the comment section talking about how you're gonna burn me at the stake and fucking pillage my fucking family and everything. Listen, Jigglypuff was included in this game in 1999 primarily due to, first of all, its popularity in Japan. And I know Japan gets a lot more say in this stuff than we do internationally, but over time, let's be real. What significance does Jigglypuff have in 2019? Be honest with yourselves. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Mewtwo's the replacement here. Mewtwo has always had a presence in Pokemon, no matter if it's the side games, the main games, the anime stuff, Pokemon Origins, got 2 Megas, the only other Pokemon besides Charizard to do that. Mewtwo's a big deal. Mewtwo is a big deal. He is the quintessential legendary Pokemon. And a rule that I'm doing with Pokemon is after this game, because this is the first game and there were 2 Pokemon, so there have to be 2 Pokemon. After this, there's only going to be 1 Pokemon per generation that gets added. And this is something, now first of all, this whole series, I might want to say, for those of you that know him, this whole series was inspired by a man who did the same thing a long time ago in the yesteryears of YouTube. I don't know if this was before or after Smash 4 came out. It was definitely way before Ultimate, though. And this is a man by the name of Pizza Dude Man Guy. This is a guy who inspired me to want to make Smash Bros. Content like this. Because I used to watch his videos all the time when I was in junior high and high school. And I thought the way he would analytically break down everything about all these different characters and their move sets and their interactions with each other and the music in the game and the stages and all sorts of cool stuff like that. I thought it was the coolest thing. So, being inspired by him, I'm going to take a crack at trying to put my own spin on things and do things in my own kind of way, with my own thought process, especially as many years have passed. We have Ultimate now. Nintendo's whole, the whole way that they do business has changed since those videos that he made back then. So there's a lot of fresh perspectives we can put on this. But I'm also kind of an old school mentality when it comes to how I view Smash Bros. 50-50. That's enough talk. justification for Mewtwo outside of the whole Jigglypuff is kind of irrelevant in 2019 thing. Well, that's really my main basis right there. And also, Mewtwo's just so much cooler. And Mewtwo, I need Mewtwo to be there because Mewtwo is the quintessential, like, Mewtwo's not a villain. Mewtwo's not Ganondorf or, King K. Rool or Ridley or, Bowser or any of that. He's not any of that. But he is the quintessential, like, antagonistic Pokemon of the franchise. He's the quintessential bad guy, like, big final boss fight Pokemon of the series. So he's the only Pokemon I could really put in this place that would really work in this position. So then, besides Mewtwo's appearance here, there's only one other character that takes a huge change, and this is Ness. And this leads me to another huge change that I'm doing for the entire Mother franchise over time. First of all, there will be more than just Ness and Lucas over time. I can assure you of that. Stay tuned for future videos on the subsequent games in the series to learn more about that. But in terms of Ness is actually going to play in Smash Bros. The way that he plays in Earthbound. I don't know if that's like a shocking revelation to some people, but PK Fire, PK Magnet, PK Thunder, PK Starstorm, Ness don't do that in his game. He never has, and never will. Which, I get it, those moves are iconic, and thanks to Smash Bros., which a lot more people have played than Earthbound, unfortunately, those moves are synonymous with Ness and Lucas, but they shouldn't be. PK Flash can stay. That Ness has always had that. That move can stay. Now, a lot of people thinking, oh, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna put in Ness and Lucas's signature moves, PSI Rockin' and PSI Love, respectively? No, because those are gonna be their eventual final smashes. I'm just gonna spoil that right now. Ness's eventual final smash is gonna be PK Rockin'. Or PSI Rockin', whatever you want to call it. But Ness's actual moveset here. His neutral B will stay the same. PK Flash. PK Hypnosis will be his side smash. His side special. This, in a way, makes up for Jigglypuff being taken out. Because Jigglypuff's whole, like, main shtick, like, lore-wise as a character, is the whole hypnosis or, like, Sting putting you to sleep, that whole deal. But Ness having PSI Hypnosis here allows for that mechanic to remain in Smash Bros. Just under the use of a different character. Now, I'm going to skip to the down B right now because the up B is probably the one I'm going to need to make the biggest case for. The down B, PSI or PK Life Up. If you don't know what this does, it's a health recovery move. Because if you don't know, the way that Ness plays in Earthbound, and this is the same thing for Lucas and Mother 3, they are tanky fighters who hit hard with their melee attacks, and for the most part, other than their signature attacks, use a lot of support moves. That's why Ness would have a healing move, that's why Ness would have a move to put someone to sleep. Flash still works the way that it does. Flash doesn't change, because that's one of the few powerful offensive moves that Ness can potentially use. And the way I would program Life Up is, it would be just a straight up, Ness has to sit there, concentrate for a little bit, and he's able to heal off some damage. Now, you can program it one of two ways. Either he has to repeatedly use it to heal up to heal up damage, like, more and more over time. Like, say he can only heal up like 20% at a time, which is still a lot, to be fair. Especially, like, in the newer games where people die so much faster. But let's say he uses Life Up and he heals off 20 damage. But he was at 45 damage. He still has 25 damage. He has to use it a second time. And I would give Life Up like a long time frame for the move animation to actually work. Because you're healing off damage basically for free. There needs to be some way to balance it. And the best way I can think of doing that is a long lag time for the move, which gives any other character ample amount of time to rush in and beat down and punish Ness if he's going to sit there and just spam that over and over to try and get back to 0%. I want the move to function. I want it to be there, but I don't want it to be like super abusive. But at the same time, I don't want it to be completely useless either. And I think this is a good mid ground. And finally, for the up special, PK Teleport or PSI Teleport. I know, if you played an Earthbound game, I know. It doesn't actually do that. It's not recovery. I know that. But at the same time, neither is Thunder. And Ness can't even learn that. And Smash Bros. Making Thunder work the way that it does as recovery is like, I understand why. Well, I don't actually. That was one of the biggest reaches I've ever seen in my life. Like, I don't know what Nintendo, I don't know how they came up with that, but I never would have been able to do that. If I was in that office, I would have never thought to use Thunder in that way. Not because it's a bad idea, but because it's just so out there. It would have never clicked in my mind. But if we're going for the idea, and by the way, the whole reason I'm doing not just to be an Earthbound fanboy and make Ness and Lucas fight this way, it's because there are going to be other characters that come in, and those characters need to have these moves. Those characters need to have Fire and Thunder and Freeze and Magnet and Starstorm and all that. Those characters need to have those moves free for them. That's the whole reason why Ness and Lucas are getting this big change. And Ness and Lucas won't be exactly the same. There's enough support PSI moves in Earthbound and Mother 3 that Ness and Lucas won't be carbon copies of each other. They'll have similar moves, but not exactly the same. I believe that's all I got. So, go ahead, give the video a thumbs up, give it a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel, The Nerd Grid. Follow The Nerd Grid at Twitter, at The Nerd Grid. Click the bell for notifications. That way you will be notified every time that we upload. Follow me on Twitter, at Nazir Senpai. All these socials and all that will be linked down below. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, and talk to you soon. Bye!